ti boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti boom, boom, boom. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will get there. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. But we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti boom, boom, boom. It will be hard, we know, that the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti boom, boom, boom. It will be hard, we know, that the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, we'll have Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Next, we'll have the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana. national security coordinator is also there. Next, we invite the Chief of the First Staff to lay a writ on behalf of the Ghana Armed Forces. On behalf of the Ghana Air Force, I wish to invite the Director General of Human Resource Next, we invite the Deputy Minister for Defense, Lady Floral. now the Bank of Ghana to lay families. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, senior government officials, ministers, the general public. We are not yet done. This mourning ceremony is going to be here from today to Saturday. And with your permission, His Excellency the President and Vice President will take leave of us as we invite our ministers, government appointees, and the general public. We have two places. There is one to my left and there is one to the right here. Thank you very much for all those of you who have contributed even as we continue to mourn our compatriots. May God bless us, keep us strong, really in this difficult moment. Thank you very much. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, thank you very much for coming. This makes, we are now breaking up this session. Thank you very much for coming.
So it's day one of national mourning, 3 days of national mourning, and those are visuals from the Jubilee House where wreaths are being laid in honor and respect, remembering those astute servicemen and statesmen who lost their lives in the line of duty just yesterday. We saw the president laying his wreath, followed by the vice president, as well as who did I see? Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, and a few more people as well. Now open to the public as well to lay their wreath. So we're still mourning. Coming back to the studio, we've been joined by our colleague Johnny Hughes, who definitely has been in touch and has built quite a relationship with some of these wonderful people we have lost. And I don't know, I'm really out of words, Johnny. I'm trying.
Since yesterday, the mood hasn't been one of a good one, especially for the people we've lost, and some of them were here was home to them, you know.
Yeah.
And
every morning.
Yeah.
Have them on the show New Day, have them on Sunrise, and then it's still. I think we're all in a state of shock, aren't we? We're still. It's disbelief.
It's a big blow,
Johnny. It's I don't know how you feel.
I mean, it's indescribable how this happened all of a sudden, and I think the whole country has been hit like a thunderbolt. We are yet to recover from the shock. We are yet to recover from, you know, how everything just came together. Because we woke up one morning and we all knew that we had government officials who would go to Obuasi to undertake an activity that will help us combat galamsey. Only for us to hear a few hours later that this unfortunate thing had happened. In fact, when I first got the information, I dismissed it. I said, well, it can't be possible that everybody is gone. No, how? At least there should be some survivors. And then I even got much more detail telling us how the entire aircraft, you know, disentangled, and we couldn't even identify who was who, you know, and that's really painful. As you mentioned earlier, these are people that we have formed relationship with over time. They are politicians, yes, but they are also human beings. And they come into this yard or into this media general compound. They go across our platforms on TV3, on 3FM. They interact with us. They grant us interviews in their capacities as politicians in opposition, now politicians in government, and politicians with portfolio. All right. So you see the transition, and as members of parliament as well. So if something, for example, happens in Tamale Central, and I wanted, you know, credible information, I knew I could count on my late brother, Comrade Mutala, to give me credible information, or to be looking for, you know, a piecemeal kind of thing, so that even if I had some information I wanted to cross-check, you know, I knew how I was going to get. If I wanted some good information about how the NDC was managing elections going into the 2024 elections, I knew I could count on Omadi Boaman, all right? And if I knew I wanted some information on national security, for example, I knew I could call on Alaj, and I knew that he could sort me out. So that was the kind of relationship we built with them. And as journalists, sources are very important to us, because if your sources get finished, that means your well has run dry. Once your well runs dry, you'll be journalistically thirsty. So it hit me really, really, really hard, I must tell you.
And this
I
morning,
don't think I'm alone.
yeah, a lot of people are with you on this. I couldn't sleep personally.
Yeah.
I kept tossing and turning. It felt like a bad dream that I wanted to just wake up from. And watching you this morning, and the entire New Day team even made it worse. And you sharing your experiences with him, your fond memories with especially Comrade Mutala, where you emphatically stated that how you start Johnny's Bite. Johnny. How you start
Sorry about that. Sorry.
the entire show
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
was something you actually learned from him. He gave you the words to use, how to go about it correctly. Share with us some of the fond memories you have of Comrade Mutala.
So, as I stated earlier in the morning, when the idea for Johnny's Bite came, I thought that I should have a Christian and Muslim prayer put together to signify how united we are as a people, as a country. So I thought that I needed to learn the Islamic prayer, just a portion of it. And I called on him one day after I'd hosted a news review segment here. You know, he had come and then he gracefully, taught me. He later went home, even recorded a voice note and sent it to me. And he was that kind of individual who was, open to everybody. He was so affable. He had a very nice dispensation, even if he was telling you something that was to hit you. If you were an opponent or a co-discussant and he wanted to hit you, he had a way of being very sarcastic about it. He always would wear a smile, very nice person, but strict as well. And I remember that we discussed in bits and pieces his PhD. He just finished his PhD, got his PhD sometime in January. Wow. And he's just gone. It took 4 years to achieve that journey. 4 years gone down the drain. So when I shed tears because I know the trajectory. I know the journey where he has come from, not as a baby though, but up until the time our paths crossed, and where he got into, served in different capacities as deputy minister, served as a minister now, served as MP. He was former MP for Nanton, and lost the elections. They didn't give up, came down to Tamale Central and won. He's loved. You need to see the people around him. I've been to his home right after sunrise. I went to his home. You could see the people, the parliamentary leadership, parliament, ministers, business people from EPA, name it. The whole community. And one woman who lived in the community said something. He says, "Oh, Papa ne," to wait. "Oh, this man." He said it in Ghana. She was shocked. It was an old woman, not appropriately dressed for, the gathering. She was just out there, and she was shocked. I'm sure she's not catching the news. Yeah.
Well, we've been joined also by Cookie. Cookie is here. Johnny was just sharing some of the memories he has of Dr. Mutala. You definitely as well have interacted with some of them on the show. What are your fond memories?
This morning, Cookie cried. She made me cry when I was watching from home.
She's strong, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to cry this afternoon, Johnny.
Yeah.
Please put it together. This afternoon, I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to be strong for Naya Bingi. That's Mutala Muhammad. He was a Rasta man at heart. So he sees you, Tom, Dick, and anybody, anywhere, and then he will just give you the Naya Bingi.
Yeah, so Wagwan.
Wagwan. So he would say Wagwan. I would say, "Hey, Naya Bingi," And I remember when I was covering the elections in Tamale, when he was coming, I almost said Naya Bingi. And then I remembered I was on TV, so I had to say, "Honorable, good morning. How are you doing?" But that's the man, Mutala Muhammad. So you say, on Seni Pemua, you understand that in Chi. He does not discriminate at all. Everybody is important to Mutala Muhammad. He's the people's man. Everybody loves him and he loves everyone. And I remember him here in studio. He comes in and he talks to the camera crew. He's talking to everybody to the point where Chantel is even Mutale's friend. Where Chantel can pick up a phone and call him or send him messages just to check on him and all of that. And after the Tamale elections, I think my last interaction with him was on phone on June 19th. I said, Nyabingi, I can show you. I said, Nyabingi, I haven't seen you after the elections. How are you doing? He said, oh, my sister, I'm good. I'll come look for you. That's the last thing he said to me, and we're hearing this news today. In this video, he was very optimistic, just like Johnny stated. You know, he started from the Nanton constituency. He stood 2012 to 2016. He was actually in parliament for 4 years. And then when Inusa Fuseni was leaving Tamale Central, he decided to go and contest over there because he had a bigger picture in mind. And unfortunately, he lost. But he didn't lose hope. He stood again in 2020. Then he won for Tamale Central. So this was the second time that he had won for Tamale Central. And when the video plays further, you realize where they pour the powder on him and everything. He's the people's person. Yeah. But when you talk to people on ground, especially in Tamale, he was a very respectable human being who learnt a lot from Haruna Idrisu. So he doesn't play with Haruna Idrisu at all, and it's vice versa. Haruna doesn't also play with him because much as he's learned, he's a big boy and all of that, he's humble enough to learn a whole lot from Haruna Idrisu. And another brother that he doesn't joke with is Alassane Suini, Tamale North. And these brothers all together, yes, even though they were in different constituencies, when we covered the elections, you could see the unity, and you could see how they were all fighting for each other just to win.
Yeah, constituency. So Haruna is in Tamale South.
Yes.
He's in Tamale Central. Suini is in Tamale
and Suini North. Yeah.
And then King of Proverbs, what's his name? ABA Fuseni is in Sanarigu.
Yeah.
So the central part of Tamale has these four constituencies.
Yeah.
And so they were closely knit. I mean, I go to Tamale very often because I'm a small chief there, and it was because he immersed me into the Dagomba culture. I fell in love with it. I started wearing my dapila and my batakari and my jalabi and all of that.
That's how come we started wearing all those for TV3.
And then I got the chieftaincy title. So if I'm a sub chief in Tamale today, he contributed largely to it.
And because of some of these people, TV3 is well known in the northern parts of the country.
That's right.
When I'm there, when Johnny is there, when Roland is there, it's as though we live there with them. Yeah. Because I remember during the 2024 elections, if I was there or if any TV3 person was there, Christopher Mwakon, he would say, no, let her come or let him come. And he's not talking to any journalist if he doesn't talk to us. So he will give us preference. We would have to be the first people he speaks with before he goes to or talks to other people in the media houses. And at the time, it felt good. I was like, oh, we are doing a good job for people to respect us just because people like Murtala Muhammad hold us in high esteem. It was very rewarding for what we wake up every dawn to come here to do. And
I can imagine what the relationship was like.
Nyabingi, yesterday.
How you feel?
Sorry, we have to
I'm
cut
sorry.
you a little bit and go back to the presidency and connect with Komla to give us more updates on what exactly is happening after the Floral tribute ceremony.
Very tightly with Dr. Eduardo Mani-Boama. I know he is from your region as well, from the Eastern region, and both of you were NEC members, I would say, FEC and NEC members. How grave is this loss to the party?
Omane is irreplaceable. Omane's personality is one that he endears himself to everyone he comes across with, and his work ethics is different. Omane is one person who is results-oriented. I call him the thinker, simply because he almost always has solutions to almost every problem, unless you don't run it by him. He'll tell you, if we can do it this way, then he'll propose a certain solution, which is always workable. The Omane I know, very diligent, very intelligent, and very dedicated and committed comrade. I have worked with Omane longer, from our days in opposition in 2008, all through this time. And so we've had a very personal relationship. Like he said, I call him my Eastern brother, and because all of us are from the same region, we share a lot in common. Luckily, we all got appointed into President Mohammed's government when President Mahama won. Omane was the last person anybody would feel a thing like this would happen to. Mutala, former student leader, former YEA deputy director.
I mean, the three of you all are with the student.
So
Yeah.
we've all been in that space, and so where I sit is a very big loss. Abuaje, for instance, is like a brother to me. Even on Tuesday night, Abuaje and I were chatting. And if you know who Abuaje is, he's one young man who is always out there looking for opportunities for his people. Samuel Sapo and I were appointed in 2009. He was the mayor for Ashanti, for Kumasi. I was appointed as the MC for Krapim North. So from 2009 till date, Samuel Sapo and I have had some very close working relationship. When you speak about Alhaji Lamuna, nobody goes into the Savannah region without recourse to Alhaji Lamuna. So we've always had a very close working relationship, working together. It's very unfortunate that this has had to happen. We can only pray that God grants them eternal rest and God helps their families, especially their parents, their children, their spouses, to find eternal peace, because this is devastating. Nobody expects to go. We know we'll all die, but this is not the kind of death anybody wishes for. And the challenge and difficulty is that it could have been any of us. It could have been any of us, because we are all invited to be in Obuasi.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to come to that.
Ministry was part of. It's a coordinating ministry with the lands ministry on this particular project.
This was a multi-sectorial launch.
And so all of us were supposed to be there. I had other engagements in Accra, so I told the Honorable Amabwa that I could not make it. And that is the only reason why I may not have been there, but all of us could have been there. And on that helicopter, because we all travel, we all do travel together sometimes, they tell you there is a military aircraft going, so all of you should join. And so we all do go, and so sincere apologies. It's a difficult situation. So I can only wish them and their families well.
Sure. All right, many thanks. The tributes continue to pour in. This one is from the British High Commission.
That's correct, yes.
Yes. What do you make of all of this? Quite a solemn ceremony, though. But for you, what lessons are you drawing as a diplomatic community?
So I think at this time it's just important that we as a diplomatic community just come and express our condolences on behalf of, for me, on behalf of His Majesty the King, on this terrible tragedy for Ghana. We've lost 8 amazing public servants who have given their life's work to Ghana. And at this time, we're just thinking about their friends and their family, and you can see clearly how upset the President was today. So we just want to kind of express our thoughts and our prayers and our best wishes to the people of Ghana, and that we hope they can all get through this next couple of days. Thank you.
To the extent that they were on an assignment to fight Galamsey and also to provide new livelihood for people involved in Galamsey, or what we call illegal mining.
Yeah.
For you, what lessons do you think government should be drawing from this? What should be the conversation going forward with regards to illegal mining?
So I think it's too early to speculate what this was all about. I don't think that anybody can link what's going on to Galamsey. So I think at this moment in time, it's just important for us to focus on those people who have died and supporting their families and friends.
Many thanks to you. So that's the British High Commissioner to Ghana. From his shots there, many people continue to point to show their condolences, pay tributes to the departed souls. Just the airport company firing the shots there. Let me speak to one person also who I'm going to wrap up with, though. Ras Mubarak, very, very, very close friend to Mutala, who is a brother of yours, I know, and also Dr. Edward Omani-Boama, and also Samuel Sapon as well. For you, what is it that we have lost in just 1 minute that you think as a country we should be looking at seriously?
It is a tragic loss to the nation, a national disaster. These were very dedicated people who were dedicated to the cause of our country. And my heartfelt condolences goes to the immediate families. I would also like to say that, look, we should not allow their death to be in vain. and that 1 year from now, when we are remembering their painful loss, we would say that, look, indeed, they didn't die in vain, and we're able to nip, the incidences of Galamsey in the bud. Don't forget, we had lost Major Mahama. Now we've lost, very dedicated members of government, patriotic Ghanaians, in this tragic incident. And it seems to me we have treated Galamseyers with kids' gloves, and the time has come for us to deal ruthlessly, with people who are destroying water bodies and forest reserves. We must also go further to even, reward and punish DCEs and MCEs whose districts are prone to Galamsey activities, should kiss their jobs goodbye, because the president would have to take a decision to make sure that, DCEs and MCEs are up to the task of making sure that Galamsey doesn't occur in their respective districts and municipalities. But a tragic loss to the country. May the souls of our departed brothers rest in perfect peace.
Okay, many thanks. Ras Mubarak is a former MP and also an advocate as well. Well, like I did say, tributes continue to pour in. Many continue to lay the flowers and express their condolences to the bereaved. Chief directors from your short, far away in your short, chief directors of all the ministries over there are also given or paying their tributes to the departed soul as well. But this is what the situation is, quite a somber and a sad mood here at the Jubilee House. But the president has declared 3 days of national mourning, and we can only observe to see what the situation continues to unfold. Back to you in the studios.
All right, thank you very much, Kamala Kuche from the presidency, and back in the studio with Johnny Hughes and Kuka T. We're still trying to stay strong in these times. Johnny, you also have quite a relationship with the pilots, Squadron Leader Nala.
I mean, these are fine soldiers. My understanding is that I'm not too familiar with the flying officer and then the sergeant, but I know Squadron Leader Anala, and a Squadron Leader is equivalent to the rank of a major. So maybe I'll run you through.
Okay.
You start from private, you rise. He joined Officer Kobak, just trying to let you know the height he reached. Start from private soldier, then you get to a lance corporal, a corporal, you get to a sergeant, a staff sergeant, and then you get to a warrant officer, and then you climb up to a lieutenant, and then you go up to a captain, and then you go up to a major, a squadron leader.
Wow.
This is what he achieved.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
This was his height. So you're talking about a very senior officer, right?
Wow.
Once we reach the rank of a squadron leader, major, you're a senior officer. To lose him in this way is, as they say on the street, some way. And he was a gentleman, so affable and so serviceable, so open and so welcome. The pain in my heart is that he got married not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm told.
And he has an infant, a baby. So across board, you have people who have very young families they're leaving behind. What I pray for is that we'll have the strength and the resources and the big heart to be able to take care of those they're leaving behind. That's the most important thing at this point. We will eulogize their memories and the plans and dreams that they had for their offsprings and their families. May we be able to help them to achieve those things. That's the best tribute we can pay to them. All right, beyond today and beyond when the national mourning, beyond the national funeral and all the the ceremonies, rituals, and dogma that will happen. That's the kind of focus we will. And Allah will always have a way of telling you that even if his neck knee deep in blood, he will soldier on and come and save you. He always would say that, and he says that with a lot of joy and bravery. Giovanni will tell you, and to lose somebody like that, it's a big blow, I tell you. The other gentleman who's the Deputy Director General of NADMO, he contested a parliamentary seat. He didn't win. In fact, he was declared and undeclared.
Yes.
He didn't win. He was just given an appointment about a week ago.
At NADMO.
And then he died. So you can understand the different set of... And see, he was just given the appointment and he hit the road running, going out there to support, because Galamsey is a national disaster. As George Opariado said, it's an intersectoral thing. why I'm connected to this Galamsey thing is that when we had the National World Environmental Day, we launched a program, the government launched a program. I MC, and I was fortunate enough to MC. And Butala called me to go and MC that program personally. He called me personally to say, I want you to come and MC this. President and everybody else was present. And on that occasion, they pledged to plant 300,000 seedlings that somebody had donated. So it's clearly an agenda and a plan to get to reclaim and to get to reconcile man with nature and all of that. And then this has happened. It's quite devastating. It's underwhelming. It will demoralize you. And that's where we are as a country, I can tell you.
One of the things we also like to ask ourselves is what things mean, Johnny. What does such a loss mean to Ghana? And like Anita was saying when the cameras were off, does this also mean that we really have to go hard on this Galamsey issue to honor the lives of these men?
What we have lost is that in Parliament, for example, we have lost a very vocal voice who was very articulate on a salad of issues. In fact, before Parliament rose, Mutala was on the floor, and there's a video to that effect, on the floor, making statements, and contributing effectively to the debate. And the debate will help to shape policy and, by the extension, implementation, which will affect us all. Edward Omani Boama, affable politician, he will answer his call at any point. He will respond to any message at any point, no matter who sent it. He had a very respectful composure, right? But he was very firm and very strict. The NDC will tell you that their success or victory in the 2024 election was largely on his lap because he was Director of Elections and ICT, right, with Dr. Tanko Rashid. So this is a man that you heard the Operado say that, look, he was a man who appeared to have a solution to nearly every problem. A doctor who worked at the Defense Ministry, and the people like him already in less than a year. So if you lose these two people, you had the Deputy National Security Coordinator, you had Deputy NADMO Director General, you had the other gentlemen to it, you had the soldiers to it. You have lost, and it takes a lot to train these officers. It's not just anything. So in Parliament, you're losing. In government, you're losing. Mind you, these are two gentlemen. I mean, I'm talking about Omani Boama and Mutala, who were looked at by President Mahama to say, come and use your expertise to help me be part of the 60 that will contribute in my cabinet to help reset Ghana. I can only imagine what the president is going through at this time, because his cabinet has been shattered to some extent.
Yeah.
He will now have to look through, because it is not to say that in the NDC they don't have a lot of people that they could have counted on. But for him to have said, of all the people, I want to choose you and you and you to be part of my cabinet. It means that that's some confidence, and he's giving some tribute of excellence and experience and expertise to them. Now he has lost them. He has to go back to rethinking to get people to fill in those slots, even though to forcing and Kofi Amabwa in acting capacity. So it's really a big blow to the nation. And they should tell us how patriotism plays a key role, because these people were in the line of duty when they died. They were not going to a party. They were not abusing the presidential jet or the military helicopter. They were in the line of duty. All right? Some people go to work to go and sleep. Some go to work to go and pray. Some people go to work to go and do all manner of things. But they were in the line of duty. And that's what we have lost. Now, regarding Galamsey, I think that this, as Kuki said earlier, should be a wake-up call for all of us. I think that we have toyed with this whole Galamsey menace.
Far too long.
We have played Mickey Mouse with it. So we have played...
You know the number of operations we've had?
Yeah, Operation Galamstop, Operation Halt, Operation Halt 1 and 2, Operation the drones and all of that. I mean, it just flew out of my mind.
Blue Water Initiative.
Because it's really not brought us any results, if you ask me. And day by day, you see our forest reserves, our water bodies being destroyed by these guys who claim they want to make money. If I was given the position, it will be a shoot to kill because what they are doing is killing everybody else. Do you know how many people have their kidneys damaged because they are drinking mercury, cyanide, salt, chlorine, all of this put together?
Yeah.
That's a chemical bomb.
Yeah.
And we are supervising, so it's in our cassava, it's in our dry fish, it's in our pepper, it's in our onions, it's in our everything. It's in the drinking water that remember Ghana Water Company doesn't take these chemicals out of your water. They only purify it to a certain point, take the debris out of it and serve you. So what you drink, if you drink it actually, you're killing yourself. You get the point. So now if people have the temerity to be doing this under the guise of trying to feed themselves, we have to show them where power lies.
We really have to.
We have played too
and
much with it.
This is definitely a good call, and I'm very sure that once the dust, to an extent, settles, definitely a lot of measures are going to be put in place, and the fight is definitely going to be severe. But Cookie, what are your final words to family, friends, loved ones, the entire nation?
Look, there are more questions than answers at the moment. Sometimes, when you're a person of faith, these are the things that shakes you a bit, and you ask God so many questions. But interestingly, John Kofuseni, who is also the Deputy Director General at the National Service Authority, was with us this morning. And he said something very salient, and I used it as a guard for my heart. Because he said, we may have a lot of questions that we are asking. Why did this happen? Why did it have to be these people and all of that? But are we also ready for the answers that God has for some of these things that happen? And I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, yeah, we probably do not even know what the bigger, worse picture could have been. So maybe this one, I mean, in the eyes of God, this is the simplest one that we can handle in the eyes of God. I'm not God, so I wouldn't know. But to every grieving person out there, and God knows my heart, it's the wives I'm thinking about. It's the children who, unfortunately, yesterday may have just heard snippets from school. Yeah. They hadn't gotten home yet, and all of that. And I'm told somebody's parents, somebody's mother heard the news whilst watching on TV. She didn't even know. Yeah, one of them, I'm not sure who it was, but his mom heard it whilst watching TV. So you can imagine. And then the health minister also had Dr. Mani Boama's mother brought to Accra for close monitoring and all of that, because she's old, and you know some of these things can be devastating. All I can say, though it is difficult, it's only God who knows, and if we do believe in God, then we should try to stay strong and hold each other up. If you want to cry, cry it out, because sometimes holding it inside even makes it worse. If you want to cry, cry it out. However you want to let it out, but be strong. And
absolutely,
I'm sure later on when we start investigations into what happened and why it happened and all of that, maybe we'll be settled a little bit in our spirits. Yeah, so until then,
as our Muslim brothers say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilahi rajiun. May God or Allah forget all their transgressions and grant them safe passage into Jannah. Jannatul Firdaus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Cookie and Johnny. And like Cookie rightly said, our hearts goes out to the families, the bereaved, the entire nation. We're all mourning, and let's be kind to each other. Let's be careful of the things we're also sharing on social media, the things we're cooking up and saying, let's wait for the right authorities to communicate to us before we come up with all of these things. And we should also respect the privacy of the family in terms of some of the content we're sharing. It's very important, Godwin.
I agree with you, basically. Is there much for us to talk about?
We need to take a break at this point. We'll be back. This is the afternoon show.
Hey! Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in the
media has been flooded with loads of tributes pouring in from across the globe, from entertainers and different people. And so we have some on standby that we're going to share with you. And from musician Medical, he says, God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Condolences to the families of the victims. Prayers to the president and the entire government. We stand with you in this tough time. May God protect and bless us all. And that is coming from Medical. And Sarkodie says, very heavy. God rest their souls and strength to the families. Hashtag tragic. Okay, and John Dumelo says, extremely sad and heartbroken, this life. Kim Promise adding the heartbroken emoji, and he goes on to say, prayers and strength to the families of the souls lost in the helicopter crash. So tragic and heartbreaking. Very, very heartbreaking. We still have some more comments, and this is coming from Fifi Fiavi Kwete. He says, heartbroken, very sad day. He was visibly heartbroken and in tears in some of the visuals we saw. And Amare says, on the way to Sweden for WOW Fest, and I'm just finding out about the news of what happened in Ghana. My condolences go out to the families of the Defense Minister, Dr. Omane Boama, Minister of Environment, Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, and the 6 other officials and crew in a tragic helicopter crash this morning, as well as His Excellency President Mahama and our entire nation at this difficult time, sending warmth and love to all of their loved ones.
Indeed.
And still reading some more tributes coming in from entertainers and
social media.
Social media.
On social media. Kojo Sheldon posted this one and it says, RIP to all gone souls, with a picture of Dr. Omane Boama and Dr. Mutala Mohammed. Giovanni Caleb, our very own, shares a picture of his friend who we're just talking about some few minutes ago, and he says, oh, Charlie, my friend is gone. Sad news, Pero. Fine officer. That's squadron leader, Anala. Bella Mundi also shared this one and says, comrade, with heartbroken emojis. May God guide the souls of our departed heroes. And she also shares a beautiful picture of herself and Dr. Mutala. I believe from the morning show, New Day. Yeah.
She had a lot of memories. A lot of memories.
Oof. As Amare. Yes. I've seen a few more. I saw one from Kennedy Japan earlier on Twitter as well. Abegu Santana says, a nation is mourning, with a heartbroken emoji. Says, hey, what is this? Deeply saddened. This heartbreaking and a heavy blow to our nation. May the Spirit of God comfort and strengthen the families of our president and the entire nation in this time of sorrow, with a hashtag, never again indeed. Amrado Berner artist says, just being alive feels so scary these days.
I mean, in times like this, a lot of thoughts keep running through your head. And from broadcaster Kafui Day, he says, helicopter falls, 8 brave souls lost in the sky, nation's heavy heart. Of course, we all have a heavy heart at this point. And Ifya, songstress Ifya says, my heart goes out to the families, friends, and colleagues of those who tragically lost their lives in yesterday's helicopter crash. Ghana mourns deeply with you. May their souls rest in perfect peace, and may we find strength as a nation in this time of sorrow. And that one from Ifya. And Ice Prince, a Nigerian musician, says, condolences to all the families and friends affected by the tragic helicopter incident in Ghana. Hearts out and prayers to the whole nation and continent, and to God be it all. All right, and still, okay, this one is from DJ Mensa. He says, it hasn't been a good week for Ghana. The heartbreaking news keeps overshadowing the progress and good things happening in the country. Lord, protect us in every way and comfort the families of the souls we've lost. And we're still sending, warmth, love, and lots of hugs to the families of the deceased. We share your pain. We're with you in these trying times. and may God definitely comfort you.
I see
You have
two
some
more here
messages.
on X. Yes, from Kenyan President William Ruto says, we extend our condolences to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the government, the people of Ghana, and the bereaved families following a tragic helicopter crash that killed 8 people, including 2 ministers. We stand in solidarity with Ghana in mourning this profound loss and offer our thoughts and prayers during this time of sorrow. Rest in peace. And that's from President William Ruto. But just a quick reminder that if you want to experience a world of scent with our versatile range of perfumes, collection from French Avenue brands, whether you prefer the freshness of citrus, the elegance of florals, and the warmth of woods, exotic spices, smoky richness of tobacco, each perfume is designed to complement your unique style and your personality. So find your signature scent and elevate every occasion with their new line of French Avenue perfume collections like Mirage, Lumière L, Lumière Garçon, Royal Blend Nero, Roses d'Emotion, Eclair, Affair, Coco Morado, Sienna, and many more at LA Perfumery. Feel good in your signature scent. For bulk purchase, call 0544 910 447 or find them on Instagram at LA Perfumery. All right, we'll take a quick break now. We will be right back with more.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. We will.
Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in the maze of outdated gadgets? Relax. Come with me to computer.
Don't see! This your tablet from CompuGhana has really helped.